All right, welcome. My name is Sarah Nelson, and I'm a yoga teacher and yoga therapist in Portland, Oregon. And I work a lot one-on-one with people or in small groups who have anxiety, chronic pain, depression, insomnia. And now I'm doing more of it online. So I wanted to mention I came to yoga about 20 years ago with anxiety and panic attacks. And while yoga did not cure those things, it did give me the tools and the perspective to coexist with my anxiety and really to live a joyful life. So I'm really grateful to yoga for that. I want to acknowledge that yoga is from India, what we call India now. It's an ancient practice, 3,000 to 5,000 years old. And it encompasses much more than what we do in our yoga classes, especially here in the West. So it's a very, very deep, very rich tradition. Today, we're going to do some gentle yoga with the emphasis on gentle yoga for fibromyalgia, but this would be great for any pain condition, anxiety, or if you are having trouble falling asleep. I'm going to practice on the floor today. You could practice on the floor, but you could also practice in your bed. So I would imagine maybe doing this practice before bed or in the morning, anytime that you could use a little recharge. I have a blanket on top of my yoga mat on the floor. You don't need a yoga mat for this practice, but it is nice to have a little cushion, so maybe a blanket or two. I grabbed a couple pillows just off my bed that I will use. So if you have pillows, and then a blanket, which to start with, I'm going to use just as a little head support. So we want to be comfortable as possible. We'll do some gentle movement, we'll do some breath work, and we'll do some visualization. It's all aimed at engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system that turns on our relaxation response. And so in this society, we live more in the sympathetic nervous system, which is more of that go, go, go. That's the part that we might have some pain or some anxiety if that has flared up. And so just so you know, engaging the parasympathetic nervous system also supports our immune systems and our endocrine systems. So it's great for overall health. And then a couple things, key concepts that we'll go back to. We will visualize movements before we do them. And I invite you to continue visualizing if that's what your body is up for today. So some exciting research in exercise science has shown us that visualizing movement has many of the same benefits as actually performing the movement. And so just know that even if you're resting today and imagining your body doing the movements, you're still getting benefits from the practice. Take a break whenever you want and work at about 40% of what you could actually do. So we work at that lower percentage to help engage the parasympathetic nervous system so that the nervous system can feel relaxed and safe. So let's get started. We will start reclined on our backs. We will do the whole practice reclined on our backs. I'm going to put my couple of pillows under my legs. If you had a couch or a chair, you could also let the legs rest on the seat of the chair. And so the idea here is that your body would feel as relaxed and comfortable and supported as it can. And so adding any pillows or blankets or anything you need. I always like to start with a few exhale sighs out my mouth. So inhaling through my nose, exhale to release it out my mouth. Do that as many times as feels good in your body. And just as we start, I wanted to share this quote with you guys. So this is from my yoga teacher, TKV Char, and he has passed on, but he was a modern yoga teacher in India. And he said, the success of yoga does not lie in the ability to perform postures, but in how it positively changes the way we live our lives and our relationships. And so just a reminder that anyone can do yoga, that it doesn't matter how flexible or strong we are. There's much more to yoga than that. And we'll start with a wave breath here. And so just know that if any of the breath work or movements we do agitate you, your breath or your mind in any way, you just let that go and you don't need to practice it. And when we practice this wave breath, we are bringing our attention, our focus to the different parts of the body as we inhale and exhale. So it's not like we have to try to inhale just to this one part of the body. It's really our awareness that is moving like a wave. So on the inhale, the awareness will start at the belly, move up towards the low ribs as they expand, and then all the way up to the collarbone. And like a wave moving out. On the exhale, we notice the collarbones lower, the ribs lower, and the belly lower. So moving at your own breath pace. It doesn't matter. You don't need to go at the same speed as I'm calling out. But almost like it's a wave coming into shore. On the inhale, the belly rises, the ribs rise, the collarbone rises, collarbones. And then on the exhale, collarbones lower, ribs lower, belly lowers. Just letting your breath flow in and out this way. I'm breathing in and out through my nose. If you're congested today, maybe you have to use your mouth. That's okay. Do maybe one or two more breaths like this with the attention, the awareness, moving like a wave. And then we'll just release that focus on the breath and let the breath move in and out normally through your nose or your mouth if your nose is plugged. So we're going to start a little movement now. We'll start with the head and neck. And so, like I said, let's visualize the movement before we even do it. And so what we'll be doing is drawing like a circle or oval in the air with our noses. So imagine yourself doing that. Notice any parts of your body that tense up even as you imagine it, and allow those to release, relax. Maybe the jaw, the shoulders. And then when you're ready, if you want to practice it, we'll just slowly draw a little shape in the air with your nose. Make sure you continue to breathe as you do this. Sometimes we hold our breath in yoga when we're concentrating. Coming to center. And then we'll reverse the circles. And always make your circles slower and smaller Whatever feels right in your body today. Coming to center. And take a pause here. Let your breath move in and out. So we're going to move to some movement coordinated with the breath. And when we coordinate movement and breath, it helps to focus our minds. When our minds are focused on what we're choosing to focus them on, then they're less likely to try and tell us stories and make us worry about things and relive things we can't change. So to begin with, I have my hands on the floor, my palms are up. I'm going to just bring my fingers in just a little bit, curling the fingers just a bit. So we'll be moving the hands, the fingers mostly. On my inhale, let's visualize first. Visualize your fingers lengthening and widening, but again, not at that 110%, so you're not looking for a big stretch here. And then imagine on your exhale, fingers curling back in. You want to try to coordinate the movement in the breath so that just as the breath is beginning, the fingers are moving. Just as the breath is ending, the fingers have reached the place where they'll stop. So continuing either with a visualization or with the fingers moving, inhale to widen the fingers. Exhale brings the fingers curled back in. Just moving with your own breath. Checking in, does this cause tension in another part of your body? And if it does, can you release that tension? Nice. We'll do 1 or 2 more rounds here. When you finish, just let your hands relax, let your breath move in and out comfortably. We're going to transition to what I call basket arms, what I was taught to call basket arms. And I'll show you so that you can visualize it first. But I bring my arms up and I hold on to my opposite forearms. So I guess creating a little basket. And then we'll be making little circles. I'll invite you to make little circles. But do take a moment and just visualize yourself doing it first. And then if it seems like something your shoulders are up for today, just gently moving the arms in a little circle, a little oval. If you get any repetitive clicking or popping in your shoulders, just make your movement a little smaller. You can reverse your circles as you're ready. Check back in. Anything tensing that doesn't need to be tensed. Maybe your jaw. Allowing that to release. Nice. And when you're ready, arms can come back down. Take a little rest. If you still, like me, have your legs on the pillows or a chair, just move those out of the way. And then bend your legs, let the soles of your feet come to make contact with the ground. We do little pelvic tilts here. And again, we'll visualize it first, but notice as you rest here, notice where your low back is, so your lumbar spine. If you're in bed, the spine will probably be touching the floor. But if you're on the bed, if you're in bed, your spine will probably be resting on the bed. If you're on the floor, it might be a little bit lifted. Doesn't matter. But what we'll do, and you can visualize it first, is on the inhale. I'm going to show my hands, but you don't need to use your hands. The low back will arch a little bit up off the floor as the pelvis comes forward a bit, tips forward. Exhale, pelvis tips back, and the low back connects down with the floor or with the bed. The tailbone might lift a little bit, but the hips stay on the floor. So you can visualize, imagine yourself doing that for a round or two. And then maybe you give it a try, or maybe you continue to visualize on the inhale. Low back arches away from the floor or the bed. Exhale, it rounds back down. Moving with your breath. Anything we do, we don't want to cause any additional pain. You might already have some soreness and stiffness. But we don't want to do anything that causes more pain. Nice. Maybe one or two more rounds here, moving with the breath. And then just let your spine return to neutral. You might let your knees sway a little side to side if that feels good. Usually feels pretty good in my body. Nice. Coming to center with the knees, let's lengthen just the right leg. So the right leg is long, the right heel is resting on the floor or on the bed. My left leg is still bent here. And then I'm going to, let's imagine it first, wipering the right leg from side to side. And so the movement is coming up here from my hip joint. If you'd like to give it a try, just go ahead and wiper. I have a tendency to kind of tighten my foot when I do this. So check in with your foot. The foot can stay relaxed. You might notice, like I notice in my body, that your leg has maybe a preference for either the external rotation where the foot's pointing out to the side, or the internal rotation where the foot's pointing in. And it doesn't matter. It's just interesting to notice the patterns in our bodies. Nice. Next time you come to center, we'll take a pause there. If it feels okay, maybe the right arm lifts up overhead here. We just feel a little stretch along the right side of the body. Nice. Right arm comes down, right leg rebends. And we'll lengthen the left leg long along the floor or the bed, left heel on the floor or the bed. This side might be different than the first, so visualize first those wipers. And then perhaps letting the movement come into the leg. So this is a nice stretch for our hip flexor muscles, especially the iliopsoas muscle that starts in the low back and comes through the pelvis and connects our spine to our femur bone, our leg bone. Can get tense and dry. Invite that foot to relax. Invite your shoulders to relax. Nice. Take a little pause. Maybe the left arm reaches up overhead to the floor if that feels okay. And just a little gentle stretch along the left side of the body. Nice. Left arm comes down. We rebend the left leg. Notice again, maybe some swaying of the knees from side to side here. I want to introduce brahmari breath, which is bumblebee breath, and give the option to do that with a movement. And then we'll head towards some relaxation. So knees coming to stillness as we rest here. Bumblebee or brahmari breath. We inhale through the nose. Well, we exhale through the nose too, but we hum as we exhale. And there's no correct way to hum here. So I'll demonstrate. I'm inhaling. I'm just making a noise on my exhale. That humming, it both lengthens the exhale, which has a calming effect on our nervous system. It also stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in our body, and the nerve that's kind of the on-off switch for our parasympathetic nervous system. So do 2 rounds, just moving at your own breath pace, inhaling. Relax your shoulders. Take a pause. Notice how you feel after that breath. And then option to coordinate some movement with that breath. So you could just do the breath, you could just do the movement, or you could do both the movement and the breath. And I'll show it to you first, movement and breath. And then you can visualize it and then decide if you want to do it. So I bring my knees in towards my chest. I rest my hands on my knees, fingers pointing towards my shins. My elbows are relaxed. I inhale, keeping my hands on my knees. I just move my knees enough away from my body so that my arms lengthen. And then on my exhale, the knees will return in towards the chest as I do my brahmari breath. Maybe do one more. After that last one at a time, then feet can return to the ground if they've lifted. Take a pause here. Notice the effects of that. Nice. So we'll do a A little twist, and then we'll rest for a minute. So I'm going to grab my pillows again. I'm going to roll onto my right side. And I have one pillow under my knees. And the second pillow I might put between my knees. And so resting here for a moment. And then an option to come in towards a gentle twist. So my left hand's just going to stay on my thigh or my hip here as I twist just a bit, opening my heart a little bit up towards the ceiling. But I'm not trying to get my shoulder blade on the floor here. Take a couple of breaths here. Nice. Rolling back into the fetal position on your side that you started on. And then we'll come to side two. I'm just going to turn to face away from you for this. So moving my pillow to what's my left side. Still have a pillow between my knees. I start resting in the fetal shape. And I could stay right there. Or maybe I open this top shoulder a little bit. If this causes pain in the low back, I could bring more support under this shoulder. So bringing a pillow or something under the shoulder. Just take a couple breaths here. When you're ready, rolling back into the fetal position on that second side. And then coming back onto your back. So we'll take just a minute or two here for a final relaxation pose, just to close our practice. So you might bring your pillows back under your knees. But if you liked side lying, you could always end your practice resting on your side as well. That's fine. Notice if you want a blanket or anything to cover up with. And so taking some deep breaths here, maybe coming back to some exhale sighs out the mouth. Scanning your body for any places where it might be holding tension that is tension you could release. So maybe the jaw, creating a little space between your teeth here. The jaw can relax. Allow the shoulders to feel heavy. Allow the belly to be relaxed and moving with the breath. Feel your pelvis heavy on the earth with the bed. And let your hands and feet be heavy. Coming back up to your head, imagine that you could unfurrow your brow, creating a little more space between your eyes and eyebrows. So we are going to end practice right here. And know that you could stay in this final relaxation shape as long as you want. Take a moment here. Maybe you rest your hands on your body, your belly, your heart. Thinking of something you're grateful for today. I'm so grateful you joined me for practice. I'm grateful to the Bateman Health Center for having me. Thank you so much.